angry, okay? You show me that. Push.
Welcome to the post game. I'm Michael Brooks with super producer Matt Leck, head theoretician David Grisham, super producer David Slavic, and of course Felix Biederman. He's hanging out with us. Thanks for being here, man.
My pleasure.
And we were just listening to Pusha T. Give him a wait. My board up, please. Shofar to Pusha T for demolishing Drake. Fuck you. Love it.
We'll see. We'll see how the internet reacts.
Drake will respond. Well, Drake's always gonna be fine because Drake's a pop star. Like Drake like transcends a rap base.
Drake's a pop star, but he gained a rap base in the last 3 years, and he's a genius. He
is a genius.
He touched every wave at the right time. He touched Kodak. He touched Migos. In this future. Right when they were coming up, so people could be like, oh, did he like make them even if he didn't? But he got like their coolness and it made him immortal and it gave him this rap fan base.
Well, you know, you were just talking about Jay-Z before. Jay-Z was also a master of that.
Yeah, Jay-Z was also
knew
genius.
Exactly when to appear alongside with somebody right before they popped to be like, I made him.
The other thing, Drake is a fan of battle rap. He's like, he'll never like battle rap somebody not a cappella. But he's like a big enough fan that I mean, the other thing is he surprises people. People still have low expectations of him going into beef, even though they shouldn't after the Meek Mill thing. But it's like,
that was pretty savage what he did to Meek Mill. Yeah. That should have established something.
But from now on, still, anytime he goes into one with somebody, people will be like, oh, holy shit, Drake like fucking killed that guy.
Did you ever see that clip of Drake doing an Instagram live video? Which, by the way, people, I'm starting to use my fucking Instagram. So if you request me, I'll accept it.
Soon I will no longer be able to do it ever again.
Why not?
Twitch won't let me.
Wow. Wow.
Wait, what?
No. I actually don't know. No, it's like if you sign like you sign a deal with like one streaming service, you can't do others. I mean, I understand it. I only use like Instagram Live once, really. But yeah, we'll see.
I've been enjoying. I've been starting to do a couple, but I watched. There was one where Drake was doing an Instagram live, and apparently DJ Academics came on it.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Yo, Academics, get off my live, bro."
You dip from my stream.
I was like, "That is what is that? What did like Drake is a jerk, dude? Like that is such." And DJ Academics, for people who don't know, is just like this little like Jamaican teddy bear from like Long Island who's just like
he's Jersey, right?
I thought he's from Long Island, but it's the same difference.
Yeah.
He covers hip hop, like he covers rap, like a high school newspaper or something. Like
I watch every Academics video.
He's
YouTube.
good.
I watch every single one.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying like, he's got a certain charm to him. I'm just saying like. He's
gossip.
Not like somebody that you need. He's very gossipy, and I can see he's a nuisance. But watching like is like that would be like the equivalent of like Rihanna, like telling like a high school girl like that dress looks terrible. Like, it's just mean.
Academics. If he would like to come on our Twitch, play Fortnite with us, we guarantee like. He played in the pro tournament.
Right.
I swear we could get him wins. We're not. Look, we're not. None of us.
Help Academics get some gains.
We're not. Look, he's gotten a lot better at the game, but I will say we're not Ninja. We're not Dr. Lupo, but we're pretty good. You won't regret it. I know a lot more about rap than other streamers. I am just putting it out there.
I'm
Just
trying
putting
to
it out there.
The guy that I want on this show is Joe Budden. Because Joe
You
Budden,
could maybe get him.
Joe Budden is my favorite podcaster. Like he might pound for pound be my favorite podcaster. I love his dramatic reads where he just broke. I forget the woman's name, but he broke down this beef with Cardi B and one of her former castmates on Love and Hip Hop, and the way he does dramatic reads where it's like, bitch, I'm gonna find you.
He's a good broadcaster.
He's a very good broadcaster.
I really liked Everyday Struggle when it was him and Academics. I thought they had really good chemistry.
And the Nadeska. And she would try to kind of keep the peace while Joe Budden just bullied Academics.
Yeah, and then would Joe Budden is he's interesting because he's one of those guys who trolls people, but then gets so mad while he's doing with Lil Yachty.
He was right about Lil Yachty though. He was right.
You don't think Yachty had kind of a point where he's have you ever been happy?
I mean, I think Yachty had a point that Joe Budden is sort of a drama queen, but I also think that Little Yachty's standing there being I've never been unhappy and I'm always happy, and Joe Budden being dude, come on, you gotta do something more here.
Right? Yeah. I mean, but that's Lil Yachty's character.
That is Little Yachty. I mean, Joe Budden was basically asking him to drop his whole rap persona. That is a fair point. I don't know. I just
everyone in entertainment has a character,
Right.
Everyone,
Right.
6ix9ine has a character. Fucking.
Well, that's quite.
Yeah.
That's quite a. There's
6ix9ine
character, and then that's.
I can't wait for 20 years from now. Jordan Peterson, PM of Canada, 6ix9ine, President of the United States of America. The future we deserve.
I thought we had a very productive meeting.
We
established a shared framework on several bilateral issues, including bitches representing chaos, in his words.
Did you see the 6ix9ine trying to take the GED on Instagram Live? Oh man, we're trying to pick because for our for Twitch you have custom sounds if people subscribe and shit. And there's a part where he's doing one of the problems and he goes, "Man, that makes no fucking sense." And that's what I'm gonna use every time someone subscribes because it doesn't. But he's trying to do math problems on there.
Right. I shouldn't laugh. I'm sure I would totally struggle at a GED math session. I have no doubt. No doubt. Although, I mean, actually, what kind of math problems are we talking about?
It was the manager makes 3 times what the worker makes.
Whoa. Calm down.
Yeah.
I know enough math to underpay my people. Just kidding. Let's watch a little bit more Alex Jones, and then we'll go to the phones. Is that section done, Matt? Okay. Wait, pause it. In this section, Alex Jones is going to give Mikey Rotundo some life advice.
Hold on, can we?
Oh, you want to go through
the top chat is why is this idiot on Infowars? It's a good point. This is not the level of intellect that I've come to expect from Infowars. From the guy who gets naked and yells.
All right, let's check this
There's also a plug here. I'm going to give you Alpha Power, which I had them set out for the body and mind formula, the strongest endocrine type booster that we can come up with safely. So I want you to man up here.
Without a prescription.
Safety without a prescription. We're not calling it a drug.
Okay.
We're not calling it a drug.
Right.
This is Mother Nature.
Sure.
I'm going to give you 2 bottles of Alpha Power.
Okay.
Infowarstore.com. Go ahead and take them.
Thank you.
And they couldn't find a new bottle around here. This is one I was taking in my office. I'm only taking a few doses. This is X2.
Okay.
This is deep earth crystal iodine.
Okay.
The good halogen. And I'm serious. The pineal gland and all that, you need to research that. This is a big game changer. I used to swim 2 miles every couple of days. All of a sudden, I couldn't lose weight. I'm still a little bit overweight. I'm a husky guy. But I lost
He actually has lost some
weight.
Swimming?
True iodine. Well, no, I was swimming and working out. I work out a lot less now because I've gotten lazy because of X2.
Okay.
The good halogen. You know what happens if you don't have real iodine in your body?
No.
Your body grabs the bad halogens, which are bromine, bromide, chlorine, fluoride.
Uh-huh.
So a couple drops.
Okay,
of
all
this.
right. So that was great. All right, now let's do the final section where Alex is going to have Mikey Rotundo and Alex, actually, because this becomes a shared inquiry, define their ideology together. And this is, if you need it, I think I have it. Matt, you got that time code? It's 34. Okay, you got it.
Here's the deal. We got 10 minutes left.
Looks like 20.
What's your takeaway from the talk we've had?
That you and I share a lot of common. We share common ideology, and personally, it's a unique thing to have the ideology that you and I both have.
We'll quantify that ideology. Define that. Define that ideology.
Like a grassroots type goal, like grassroots things built on grassroots growth.
Here's what you need to know. Your greatest accomplishment is the fact that your ancestors went through so many crises and threats and disease and war, and that you are their genetic expression.
Okay.
So you are your ancestors in that great space-time continuum. The fact that you exist is an ultra-massive success in this universe, where I would imagine biological life, compared to the sum spectrum of the universe's measurements, is in the Googleplex level sub-point calculation.
Fucking love this guy.
So the fact that you exist and are made in the image of God, a sentient being in the space-time continuum, makes you a super creature in the entire vortex of this dimension.
Of existence.
Like
or,
Existence.
Okay.
So there's that.
So there's that.
Then there's the fact that you procreated.
Okay, pause. So
Even
people
though-
just need to know that a little.
Wait, he has a kid?
He has a kid. Mikey Rotundo aged in a way. He got something under his belt.
The mother's stayed away from the press. so
yeah,
far.
shockingly, the mother has not wanted to be part of the story.
There's this thing you can do that to like ruin people's computers, where it's like this keybind type thing where you just press a single key until it completely fills up the hard drive to capacity and it's inaccessible. And that's kind of like Alex Jones' explanation of like why he's so powerful. We're just trying to explain it. He's just pressing the
literally overloaded.
same key. Yeah. The expression into the universe, the infinity that your ancestors experienced.
Control Alt Delete. Control Alt Delete. Control Alt Delete. Control Alt Delete. All right, let's take a few more seconds of this.
You ended up breaking up with your fiance or whatever, and then ended up losing your son.
We had a great relationship for a long time.
Understand? No judgment on you. That's a real thing. You went out. You found a woman.
Hire him.
They have a lot to talk about in this regard, actually.
No,
they do.
I was gonna say, maybe I bet this guy was a little bit more kind to his fiance than Alex Jones was to his wife.
You had a child. You were fertile. You did that magic thing. That's the second thing you did. So you're part of this of the genetic and space-time electrochemical manifestation and
Not a virgin.
genetic teleportation time traveling system. It's life. It seems like a long time to us, but it's
No, I know what you mean.
milliseconds in
The
a long.
whole, like the universe and how it's all like.
I mean, I'm all my ancestors. There's a time. The genetics of that before me is hyper warping through time. So this is just my ancestors and the energy all saw a big threat to us coming up to this point. So they built in momentum and then manifested what was needed in their energy in this time space to put me in.
The cohesion of like existence and
Exactly.
Yeah.
To take us, all of us, next level.
That fucking I was waiting for him to
great was that?
explain what that means, but he literally thinks that his ancestors like all planned for him to exist in his perfect form. Like that fucking kicks ass. That's the best affirmation I've seen. People do a lot of like bullshit affirmations that are like, "You're worth it. Drink water. You deserve a break." But to be like, all my ancestors knew I would exist. They did everything to create me, to protect against dark energy. That fucking rocks.
Well, this is why the right wins.
Like the
because
genetic
they
wind-up.
Yeah.
That rule. I love he just has no idea. Michael Rotunda just has no idea what he's in for. But he really takes it on like a trooper.
No, he's good. He's like, oh, you mean like the space time? Yeah. I think you're like, oh no, I fucked my girlfriend good.
Jones paid him $3,000 to be on the show. I mean, the kid's broke and got kicked out of his home, and he's like,
I look, once again, his parents should let him home immediately. It's disgusting, and InfoWars should fucking hire him. He should be a co-host.
They need some variety in correspondence because it's all like every InfoWars correspondent is just like another screaming guy who doesn't have like the panache that Alex Jones does.
Right. They're all just pale imitations of Alex.
They need to
Jones.
do what RT does, like have a left InfoWars. He can be the left-wing InfoWars.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the old Hannity and Combs where they hired an intentionally failed liberal, and all the debates are just him like, well, I agree about the RT, the GT radiation, but we should be nice to each other. See, that's spiritualism.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. And they just own him every single night.
All the InfoWars, like, it's all like uncharismatic screaming guys, and like all these like bewildered blonde women who are like, all the replicants that work in conservative media, all like the blonde women replicants, and it's like you don't really have a guy like that. First of all, that's the only guy the InfoWars audience could like probably more relate to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
absolutely.
It would be funny is if you did the newsroom but about InfoWars. And it's like the same like bullshit, like we have to get this story out there, but the story.
Like, let's walk and talk.
Yeah, the story.
You have an AB from. It's like and like in the fucking Sorkin shows, it was just disgusting resume reads. It's just like, all right. You have an MD. You have an ND in homeopathy from. It's like diploma bills.
Yeah. You were an intern for PewDiePie. Yeah.
You're an intern for PewDiePie. You broke the secret. You broke Pizzagate. But what the fuck does that have to do with now?
I love the montage of like Coldplay Fix You, but to get out a story about how Capri Sun has estrogen in it. Like, they're like, yes, we got the story out there. We did it. The news still matters.
No, I don't think America's the best country.
Yeah.
We've got more race wars than any other modern industrialized world. The Asians are boring here.
Yeah. Paul Joseph Watson is like the younger male lead. That would be a fucking great show. That would kick so much ass. Just all the like Will McAvoy in the office.
Like, you have a joint degree in aura reading and tarot cards. What the fuck does this have to do with now?
Yeah. All this, all the dumbass scenes in Newsroom where we're like Will McAvoy is like in the office and he's like giving his wisdom, and it's against like the sort of digital intuition of the young go-getters in Newsroom. It's just Alex Jones shirtless and screaming about like dark energy.
So your ancestors came through this universe so you could be in the news. You don't get that.
But Alex,
that's what you didn't learn at the Hippocrates Institute.
Alex, we can't go live saying that there's estrogen in Capri Sun until we confirm with one of our sources.
God damn it, sources are a state of mind.
But they're
News
not.
Business.
Imagine my surprise when they're going to say that we didn't have a source for this claim, even if the bloody estrogen was found in our own lab's testing.
The news ultimately doesn't come from labs or sources or indexes or anything like that. It comes from a feeling, a gut, that the globalists are running roughshod over us, and that's why they're putting estrogen in our Capri Sun. Not because of anything you can read in any type of computer printout in the Googleplex. It's from my genetics.
But Alex, don't you agree that your ancestors who created you for this exact moment would want you to get the story right?
They would know that I already have the goddamn story right.
We have to.
This is it.
Yeah, we're pitching this.
We gotta pitch.
That would be so much better than the newsroom. And it's like when they're like, we did a story that matters, and it just like smash cut to a bunch of like paranoid survivalists being like, I fucking knew it, and just shooting a display of Capri Suns from a mile away with a Barrett 50 cal in a Kroger's. They're like, see, news can still affect the world.
There's a special episode on when the guy goes into Comet Ping Pong with the shotgun.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we signal to him that he did the right thing while protecting ourselves from a lawsuit? You know, my favorite Alex Jones segment ever, though, is the unequivocal yet very vague apology to, oh my God, what's the yogurt company?
The fucking Chobani.
That is so, it's just like, however, I did not mean to. We got to play that. He basically said that Chobani was like, I don't know, they were like bringing in terrorists.
No,
or
yeah,
something.
he said that they had like ISIS in their factories.
Yeah. And Chobani's like, we're going to fucking sue. Like, I think anybody who cares about like open society, and certainly anybody who works in media, is like not into like libel suits. But Alex Jones walks into these ones where it's like, dude, you can't fucking say that, like, there's no, like, this isn't a joke. You just went on air and just like asserted something about our workforce that's like horribly wrong. And then do we have?
I'm like, yeah,
we can't find it.
I'm a pretty like anti, like a not a very like punitive person. I don't really love lawsuits, but it's like he does when he's sued for libel. Like his action is like literally what they would teach in law classes,
right? Like
of what libel is.
Like one example of like, all right, well, this isn't even controversial.
It's like he's the for instance. Like, you know, for instance, if you said someone was using their yogurt company to bring in ISIS.
Yeah, so here's the check out this apology, then we'll go to the phones.
Well, the biggest yogurt maker in the world that came out of nowhere the last few decades, big buddies with George Soros, big buddies with the Federal Reserve Board that he's on, the actual New York Fed that runs the whole country, that Trump can't even dislodge. He's filed a big lawsuit.
Oh, this isn't the apology. This is him like...
Now, the headlines are $10,000. That's just the filing that it's up to that amount, the damages. Then they're asking for the punitive damages. 10, 20, 30 million, who knows? Because InfoWars covered other mainstream and independent media articles about Idaho in the last year and a half.
Oh, this isn't the one where he just, okay, it's fine. If we can't find it, it's fine. But the other one where he was just like, I had mentioned Chobani. However, we never, like, he just did a complete and utter reversal. All right, we'll take two calls, and then we're going to get to our bracket. You're calling from a 478 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Greetings and salutations, comrades. This is Jeff from Georgia.
Jeff from Georgia. How are you, brother?
I'm doing just fine, man. Geez, that's going to be tough to follow. I can't get that show idea out of my head, man. It's really inspired me and the fellas down here to, you know, stop stealing pies off of window sills and developing a fondness for deep fried materials that we can consume and start working towards maybe pitching a script idea, man. That sounds like one of my thoughts.
Anything that gets you away from that life of crime.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying anything that gets you away from that life of crime on the windowsill pie theft thing.
My attorney has advised me not to discuss any activities I'm participating in search of the direction. But the real reason I did call was, not to promote the activities of a bunch of bedraggled socialists down here. It was to greet you in the spirit of merriment and well-wishing, Michael, and everyone in the studio. I want to wish you a happy Suck on This Day. I'm not sure if everyone there is familiar with Suck on This Day.
Yes. Yep. You can explain it.
It's a 15th year anniversary of Stuck on This Day. Yes, that time that our worst avatar of idle wealth, Thomas Friedman, billionaire, writer, pundit, cab driver, conversationalist, went on TV to proclaim with tortured metaphor and a furious tone that we need to invade Iraq to spread misery and death among millions of people to send a message. And Michael, you might be asking yourself, a message that requires the sacrifice of human blood, that must be a pretty damn important and eloquent message. And you're wrong about that. You were absolutely wrong, because that message was suck on this.
That's
we
right.
literally declared millions of human beings expendable so that we could tell them to suck on this. So happy Suck on This Day, y'all, everyone. It's great. What's new again?
Oh man, there's always a Jewish holiday I miss.
And that was when Thomas Friedman went on TV and told the Iraqis to suck on this. And he had grown up in Minnesota, and it was a very long path, but he wrote for the New York Times, and now he said suck on this. So now he eats some brisket.
This is the worst part of Maccabees.
I gotta be honest with you, for reasons that are probably obvious to you and your listeners, I'm not familiar with your holiday calendar, but I wish you were one. But listen, actually, I gotta go. Felix has inspired me to look into this Mormonism thing a little bit more.
Yep.
So y'all have a good one now. I know it's just call lines all backed up. Everyone wants to talk to you.
Dissident peasant, Jeff from Georgia. Thank you. Now. We're going to go to the bracket in a second, but super producer David Slavic joins us in the line, and apparently you have a story from the belly of the beast, David.
As the resident TMBS Washington mole, I have a story for you. As many of you know, I worked at Third Way, which makes me the enemy, and Michael Brooks brought me to the light. And when I was at Third Way, when I had my orientation, we walked through the halls, and they said, "You know why these halls are so wide? It's because we chose an office space that would emulate the West Wing and the conversations they had in those hallways." And,
Wait! I got one for this. I got one for this. Hold on.
Baby, put down that pipe and get my pipe up.
And when I realized that very moment was, oh shit, Washington is as bad as I thought it was. And two, I realized that Aaron Sorkin has poisoned everybody's goddamn brains in Washington. And if you think it's a joke, like you see this in the op-eds, blah, 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 it's 100% real.
Used to write for
100%
Newsmax,
real.
posted
They talk
eugenics
like
cartoons and 4chan, but what the hell can you do for this operation now?
Ugh.
We're not living off of past successes.
Yeah. So I just had to let Felix know that, because everything you ever thought, it's all true. So just keep up the great work, both of you guys.
Thanks, brother.
Well, I'm
All right.
Thank you.
To emulate the conversations they had on the West Wing. Well, you know, it's been like pretty nice life these last couple of years that I've had, but I think I'm going to be killing myself after this. If anyone would wish to join me, I'm going to put an SKS rifle in my mouth.
All right. Let's do this. This will help improve your mood. Joseph Stalin said education is a weapon whose effects depends on who holds it in its hands and who it is aimed at and who it is aimed. This is,
I hadn't heard that.
David Slavic's getting pretty dark, but these graphics look amazing.
Cheers, David.
Cheers, David. Thank you. All right. And now we have a new bracket. Can we maybe get some of our Soviet music going? We didn't play it before, but perhaps we could play it for this show. This is a gulag or re-education. And, of course, for purposes of this game, basically gulag means you're out of here. And re-education means you might be able to re-enter a decent society at some point. David Grisham, is this the right version? Okay, good. This isn't the revisionist version. Okay. And everybody, of course, will have a crack at this. We'll go around in the circle, starting with Felix, then going to David Grisham and Matt Leck. Let's go to our first bracket. We have Ben Shapiro versus Rush Limbaugh. We could play a substitute where you could substitute Tomi Lahren for one of them.
No, that's the second. That's the next round.
Oh, it's the second next round. Excuse me. Okay,
Tomi Lahren gets a bye. Wow.
Yeah,
I don't.
That is a strong
I'm
seeding for
very
Tomi Lahren.
odd selection there, but this looks beautiful. So let's start. We'll start. Get straight to the point. Ben Shapiro or Rush Limbaugh. Who is gulagged for life and who moves forward?
Should I go first?
Yeah,
I'm
Matt,
gonna
go ahead.
Rush. Rush gets re-educated because he's much more entertaining. Get Ben Shapiro out of there early. That's it.
Okay, I think that's very solid reasoning.
I agree completely. I mean, you can't listen to that sniveling voice anymore.
That's okay. Yeah, that's. I'm gonna go. Felix Biederman.
Yeah, I usually would want to like re-educate the younger person, but in this case, Rush Limbaugh is like an opulent South Beach pillhead, and that type of person you can at least make them a different type of guy, and he's understands broadcasting. There's a purpose for him in that world. Ben Shapiro is just an evil little gremlin.
Right. Ben Shapiro, totally useless, totally disgusting, and also now with some sort of pretensions of like a global intellectualism, which is the least deserved thing I've ever heard in my life. Rush Limbaugh, for all the reasons everybody mentioned, from broadcasting talent to pill addiction, and also I would also add I've also read, and this is obviously because he's really disturbed and probably wants to be liked by everybody, but I have heard that he's a very good tipper. And I've certainly not heard any type of equivalent humanizing detail from Ben Shapiro. And also, it would be funny to re-educate him because we could give him a lot of exercise assignments. So Rush Limbaugh on to the second round. Let's move quickly moving forward. Paul Watson, who, of course, will feature prominently in Felix and I's spec script for Newsroom Infowars. Paul Joseph Watson versus Bill Kristol, William Kristol. We are going from really the sort of architect of the invasion of Iraq to the sort of chief pseudo-henchman of the Alex Jones empire. We'll go in the same order, Matt Leck.
There's nothing suggesting Bill Kristol should get the re-education spot. I think Paul Joseph Watson, I think it'd be a fun project to sort of ironically boost him above sort of Dave Rubin and Ben Shapiro because they'd really hate that. So I think let's keep Paul Joseph Watson in the mix.
Okay. David Grishkin.
I just feel like Bill Kristol, as terrible as he is, he's been able to make a career as a pundit on a lot of baloney and vitriol.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I'd like to re-educate him a little bit, see if we can use that tactics for some propaganda in the future.
I'm liking that. Now we have the Chinese Mao music underneath us. I dig it. And I go now, of course, to my esteemed colleague Felix Biederman on this vital choice. Paul Watson or William Kristol? Who is out of here and who is getting re-educated?
This is incredibly easy for me. Bill Kristol has done immeasurably more damage than Paul Joseph Watson. Also, Bill Kristol is a cursed little gremlin elf because every time he publicly predicts something, it goes in the opposite direction. And he can, as a free man, he could use these powers to subvert the dictatorship of the proletariat. Bill Kristol will be kept in a special anti-magic prison, similar to Magneto's in X-Men. Paul Joseph Watson, on the other hand, has the appearance, voice, and personality of a Fortnite YouTuber who does blatant clickbait. And that's my ideal state. It's sort of like an ANCOM meets mysticism meets content state. We're still figuring out, and there's going to be room for guys who make videos that are like, I found a new platinum assault rifle in Fortnite, and he's just lying, but there's room for guys like that. And that's when he's depoliticized, that's the kind of videos he's going to make.
So this is a little bit hard for me as well. I kind of agree with Grishcom. I could see some, I think that there's always use in the traitor, if you will. And I think that Bill Kristol does have a certain talent, which has obviously always been used for evil. However, where I'm going to go with the majority here is the talent is not that great. It's because he's another trust fund baby who had a whole career handed to him. This isn't self-generated. He's a charisma-free war promoter who whines and snivels even when he's getting what he wants, which is like the deaths of Arabs and Sarah Palin as John McCain's pick for vice president. I think Paul Joseph Watson, I actually could see, even as an example, we were hanging out with H Bomber Guy on the show a couple weeks ago. H Bomber Guy, I think, has hurt Paul Joseph Watson's fifis. His re-education could involve watching H Bomber Guy videos. I think we need to start thinking of the re-education itself as an opportunity to torture these people. So I'm going to go with Paul Joseph Watson. I think William Kristol is, I don't see a road back.
Do you get to watch them once they're in the gulag?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I'm going to say that we all
CCTV?
We all get periodic viewings. Yes. Watching. Okay, and now we move on. Wow, this is very interesting because this goes back into deep history here. Matt Drudge, not really a relevant figure in quite some time, but I actually can see the parallel between a Matt Drudge and a Dave Rubin. Matt Leck, who gets the education and who gets the go-ahead? For people who don't know, Matt Drudge was really the sort of first, kind of in some ways the internet propaganda daddy of Breitbart and everything else. Andrew Breitbart literally worked for Matt Drudge. I believe.
Yeah. In terms of competence and impact, Drudge obviously wins. But Drudge was also before my time, so I don't really give a shit about him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pick Dave Rubin.
Right.
Gets reeducated.
Dave Rubin gets re-educated.
Yeah, Drudge in the gulag, because I don't want to like learn more about Drudge. I kind of get it, and I don't really care.
Yeah, he just needs to be discarded like the human filth he is. David Grisham.
Among many of his other crimes, Matt Drudge, when I just Googled him, the first few pictures that showed up all had him in a fedora. So for that, he sent to the gulag. Dave Rubin is going forward.
I like your reasoning. Felix Biederman.
I think that Dave Rubin is a more slippery character than Matt Drudge. You know, obviously, Matt Drudge has done a lot of dirt in his days. Probably, like, you know, we're being honest, he's probably, like, harmed the world more than Dave Rubin, you'd have to say, right?
Yeah. Cumulatively. I mean, Dave Rubin's been more harmful recently, I would say. But yeah. Overall impact, probably.
But this is where, like, this is the most important aspect of justice, I think, from my perspective. I find Dave Rubin more annoying. That's the most important thing when you're figuring out crime, punishment, restorative justice. Who's more annoying? It's Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin's he's going to the gulag.
Dave Rubin's going to gulag. So now we have a 2-1 vote. I might make this a tie. Here's my thing. It would be very funny to watch Dave immediately reverse himself and proclaim his commitment to the most sort of radical communism imaginable as he attempts to
but this is insane.
snivel his way.
They're calling you a murderer, but you're only killing kulaks. This is illogical.
So Mal, you weren't trying to create a famine. You were just trying to feed more people, right? Yeah. You know, Stalin, people say you were murdering dissidents and breaking together people's families, but those were only people who, like, disagreed with, like, the government, right?
See, Beria wasn't ever actually convicted of any of these things until later.
I know a lot of people say things about Beria, but you wouldn't have known that because you were out, like, managing the country, right? I think Dave Rubin is arguably the worst person on earth, and
arguable.
And Matt Drudge at least had the decency to, like, keep all of his, like, disgusting psychosis and, like, I guess at least he kept it behind. At least he recognized with that fedora and everything else that, like, he was, you know, like, he belonged behind a computer. So I say Rubin in the gulag. And that's a two. I believe that's a split vote. So I'm going to take an executive prerogative here, as the great helmsman of this show, and I'm just going to move Matt Drudge forward. I don't think he's going to last very much, anyways. And now we go to one that I think. I mean, we will do this, but I have to say, David Slavic. I think this is really a. I mean, I don't even know. Like, are you just? I guess we got to just get out of the way. But I think this is an obvious one. Alex Jones or Sam Harris?
Jones. Oh, god damn it. I didn't even hear the second name. You have to pick Alex Jones.
Alex Jones or Sam Harris?
Alex Jones gets reeducated. Gulag Sam Harris just because...
Because he's Sam Harris.
But give him some podcasting equipment because I want to hear the last couple episodes.
I'm in a gulag. You're outside of the gulag. Like, do a thought experiment while you aren't here. You fucking idiot. Okay.
Imagine how insufferable Sam Harris would be if he grew to accept the science of dialectical materialism.
Oh. He would make us capitalist reformers. We would become counter-revolutionaries.
Everyone becomes a dangist. He would be the guy doing call-out threads on, like, following people not even following people, calling out people who follow people who like tweets that he didn't like. He would be that guy.
Doesn't he already do that?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. He would just be doing it from the left. You're right. You're totally right.
So obviously, Jones on to re-education.
Yeah, Jones gets re-educated.
Sam Harris, there's a lot you could say about him. He's, like, Islamophobic. He does false science. His greatest crime, and, like, the crime that my state will recognize the most is, like, the gravest crime you can commit. He makes boring content.
Yes.
He should be lucky that we're not executing him for that, frankly. and it's Alex.
Careful.
Well, this is behind a paywall, you know. I'm saying in my hypothetical state, you can't get mad at me. We encourage children to play.
It'd be constitutional.
Yeah, it's
No, in the constitutional way.
we encourage.
Gulag obviously means something else. In a
Right.
constitutional sense. Yes.
Right. Well, I'm not saying I'm not executing anyone. I'm just saying, like, if you made bad content, I would feel like doing it some days. It depends if I wanted video games, frankly. Alex Jones, you could say a lot of the same bad stuff about Sam Harris is true about him, but he makes exciting content, and that's the same as being a good person.
Exactly. It's a great point. Okay. I mean, look, bigoted, sanctimonious little bitch with delusions of grandeur, Golden Girls Trust Fund baby, promoting everything from pseudoscientific racism to atrocities across the Middle East versus the most talented broadcaster of his generation.
Ever.
I think it's pretty obvious. Obviously, we'd have to, and I also think Alex Jones, in his own way, I'd be like. But the hardest part of Alex Jones in re-education would be him being like, "This is what I was saying for years. I was saying we need a revolution." Like, he would just immediately
Agree through the whole re-education. I know, that's what I'm saying.
I know that's what I was saying. I said, you guys got buried all wrong. He would get more and more obscure.
Oh my, yeah, no.
It's like that was why what show and lie was he was a conservative reactionary.
Lin Bao got what was coming to him.
They said the Cultural Revolution was about Mao consolidating power. No, it's about liberating the Chinese spirit so they could be who they were. All right. Okay, what is this? Okay, so Tommy Lauren, I don't understand how he bracketed this. So Tommy Lauren faces... I see. So Tommy Lauren versus Limbaugh. Okay.
First?
The second round. Yeah, we'll keep going in the same order. Sure.
I'm just... let's keep Tommy in there. She is younger, and we let Limbaugh through last time. I don't have much to say about Tommy. I mean, there was a fake image going around where Tommy Lauren said she has nice blonde hair, unlike the hair Beyonce bought, but that was a fake tweet. But it was funny that still went around like Twitter, and so everyone could be pissed at Tommy Lauren for no reason. But
that is actually pretty funny.
Yeah,
I love how people are like, you know who we need an extra reason to hate? Tommy Lauren.
So she's in the bloodstream. So let's re-educate her.
Okay, Matt.
No other reason.
Yeah, sure. So Matt says Matt would like to re-educate Tommy Lauren. And now David Grisham, go ahead.
I'm going to... So Rush Limbaugh has been through 4 marriages, 3 divorces. He's been through multiple scandals. I mean, This is somebody who's been through the muck, you know, and he's risen like a glorious fat phoenix. Multiple times. So I feel like Tommy hasn't had this kind of struggle in her life. So I feel like, Limbaugh might be able to understand the class struggle a little bit better than Tommy. So Tommy straight to the gulag. I don't think you can re-educate her.
Okay, yeah, tough stuff from David Grisham. Now we go to Felix Biederman.
Inside Tommy Lauren, I see a beautiful type of spirit. And this type of spirit, is,
of course you do,
completely submental, Great Plains Facebook drama person. This is what Tommy Lauren is at her essence. Someone who posts about wanting to beat a bitch up in the Buffalo Wild Wings parking lot. She is someone who, at her core, would publicly write on another person's wall, "At least I raised my kids." This is, in my system, like, Facebook drama idiot is like the peasants in my system. And I feel like if you could, get into that part of her.
At least I raised my kids.
Yeah, if you could reach into that part of her through re-education, you could release that noble spirit of her. Give up the politics shit. Be who you are. And, Rush Limbaugh, he's had his chance. He's an old guy.
Right.
In my gulag, my version of the gulag is just that he's also going... It's going to be like, prison in Norway. He's going to just do pills. He'll be fine. Tommy Lauren has the opportunity to reclaim her spirit as the noble peasants.
You know what? You've actually convinced me. I people know. I mean, Tommy Laura does nothing for me, on any level. But actually, I think you've convinced me there. I think when you said at least I raised my kids, I saw it.
She's that type of person.
She's going head. She's moving. Rush is done. I agree with you. I think Rush could be in very different conditions than say a Sam Harris. I think Rush, we could just load him up on whatever he wants and just be like, okay, let's just.
There are tiers of prison.
Yeah, just watch golf, take your pills, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it'll exactly like a Scandinavian prison.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, Benny Johnson versus Steve Bannon.
I feel like the reason you would ever not re-educate someone and just kill them is like, or gulag. I mean,
gulag
sorry.
Of course.
Is you would ask the question, what for? And like Benny Johnson, like what would you re-educate him for? Like,
right.
What point?
What's the best outcome that could lead to? So it's obviously Bannon and gulag. Benny.
Okay, I think that's a fair. Okay, we'll go to Dave Grisham.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a Bannon fan. I like listening to him wax and wane about Napoleon and Lenin and whatever the fuck creeps into his head. So I would like to keep him around for a little bit longer at least.
Okay, well, and they'll all be around for longer because they'll be in prison, guys. Okay, Felix Biederman.
Steve Bannon is like, he reminds me of Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. Just like how many like phrases and attributions he fucks up. But just
it was like Chunks has said, you got to follow the river with the butterfly's eye. That's what this president's doing for the economy, and the globalists don't like it.
Didn't he say something like he quoted Nabokov as saying all happy families are alike, all unhappy families are different in their own ways?
That sounds very much like something he would do.
Whereas Benny Johnson is a complete cipher. He just has no abilities, no personality. Just hasn't really produced any laughs for me recently.
Right.
Just sort of like a bland, shitty propagandist. And I feel like Steve Bannon, you could at least like something funny you could do with like his thing could be like he falls down drunk in the royal court. My state is also a monarchy. I hope that's okay.
Yeah,
this is
fair
my perfect world. Okay, it's a monarchy. I know that there have been problems with monarchies in the world, but I'm just saying mine would actually be chosen by God, so it's different.
Right, exactly.
He
in
would
accordance with astroscience for leadership qualities.
Exactly. He would be the court drunk, and that's something that like provides happiness for people. Benny Johnson doesn't provide happiness for anything.
The only thing about Benny Johnson, I'll say, is like Jack Posobiec, his face looks like a stock photo.
Yeah.
Does provide a certain
there's this
just
emptiness
inherent
to it.
comedic, but no, look, I mean, you also have to look at, I mean, because we're being so cynical, and maybe none of these people can be re-educated, but I think like if we're saying that maybe there's a 2% chance that one of these like cretins could actually be a contributing member of a revolutionary republic, I mean, the upside of a reformed Steve Bannon, what is Benny Johnson like? He's reformed and now he's gonna go like,
who does he bring?
Yeah, what is he gonna do? Like file papers or something, like whatever. But Steve Bannon could actually have like a genuine redemptive arc where it was like, like the guy he could do. I actually feel like he might actually go deep in this competition. I want to, guys. I don't know. I want to run this by you just because we have a lot more to get through. Can we make a unilateral decision that Paul Joseph Watson beats Laura Ingraham?
Yes.
I think that's obvious.
Yeah, I was just going to say she immediately gets it
for
doing the Nazi salute.
Yeah. She did a Nazi salute. She went after LeBron. Fuck her. She's done.
Yep.
Okay. Steven Crowder, Michelle Malkin.
Who gives a fuck about Malkin? Let's move Crowder on.
Yeah, Malkin is...
Yeah, she's old news.
Yeah, spent dust.
So Crowder, we're saying Crowder just because of modern relevancy.
Can you imagine what Crowder's videos would be after he gets re-educated? It's like, oh, I dressed up like a class enemy to... Oh, look, I'm wearing the stupid clothes that Kulak wears.
Hey, why are all the class enemies women? Yeah. I'm wearing a dress because they're the class enemy. It's like, well, you kind of missed it, Steve. Yeah. All right, well, I guess Steve Crowder, the big dumb fuck moves forward. And now, Okay, Matt Drudge versus Brett Stevenson. This is actually, I would say, this one does deserve a round.
Well, it is
Matt.
Brett Stevens, but anyway.
Oh, excuse me. Did he?
It's a typo in
Oh,
the
it is a
bracket.
typo. Right, Brett Stevens. Excuse me. Brett Stevens versus Matt Drudge.
Brett Stevens. Brett Stevens is currently at the New York Times. He took on Elon Musk this week, so maybe there's a chance that he actually could be. He is not, but anyway.
Yeah, I think
Stevens
the
moves
Musk. Grisham.
Stevens just is absolutely revolting for me, so I don't have any opinions or positive spins I can take on him.
So he's down.
Yeah, he's in the gulag.
Okay. Felix Biederman.
What did I say is the greatest crime? Boring content. Brett Stevens, you are the state's freak of the week. So bad luck, man. Enjoy prison, dog.
The state's freak of the week.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go on the similar principle, which is that, for a communist, I am very respectful, I guess, of a certain type of entrepreneurial instinct. And Matt Drudge, I think, was a guy who literally worked at a 7-Eleven and ended up becoming one of the most important propagandists of our era. Now, granted, for evil, and he needs to be rigorously re-educated, and he needs to be shamed for that photo. But Brett Stevens is just some prep school scumbag who is incredible. It really is actually our version of banality of evil. Could write a column that could simultaneously be breathtakingly boring, and then you step back and you're like, oh, he's literally condoning mass murder of children, and I'm still bored. Fuck him. He's useless. Gulag. Drudge gets a go through, in my opinion. Candace Owens versus Meghan McCain. This one, I got to tell you, this is a really tough one. I'm a little surprised to see Meghan here. I thought she was thoroughly dispatched in the last go-around, David. But we'll start with Matt Leck.
I think Candace Owens seems very re-educatable. I mean, we found out she was doing Trump's junk is small content a year ago. And Meghan McCain, to go off Felix's point about the annoyance, she immediately gets gone.
Very, very solid. David Grisham.
Yeah, I also feel that, from what I understand of Candace Owens, that she's dealt with some struggles previous in her life. So I feel like we can give her the benefit of the doubt and re-educate her versus Meghan McCain, who's pretty much been given everything. Straight to the gulag.
Perfect. Okay, Felix Biederman, Candace Owens, or Meghan McCain.
Meghan McCain is maybe the most annoying person on here, to the point that I almost feel I feel bad for how annoyed I was at Chelsea Clinton. Meghan McCain is just innumerably worse person, and
no doubt,
cynical piece of shit from a even worse family than the Clintons. Just a fucking garbage family of absolute scumbags. Candace Owens, look, I think that everyone has some good in them. Candace Owens had a mildly pro-Farrakhan tweet recently. I think there's some goodness in her that just doesn't exist in Meghan McCain.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. Candace Owens keeps going. Okay, let's do another unanimous one if we can. I raise a motion with my comrades that Alex Jones defeats Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk can't go as farther than Candace Owens.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk, exactly. Okay, so now let's do Ann Coulter versus Sarah Palin. That is actually that's a legit tough one there. And if we could start this time with Felix, if you would like, Matt, because he seemed like you were a little tense on that one.
Ann Coulter, do have to give her props in some way, has just always just been a openly wicked person forever.
Just not being a transparently grotesque, horrible human being.
And it's if she was up against anyone else, I'd be I don't know, I kind of respect that. But it's Sarah Palin's she's an older Tomi Lahren. She has that Facebook drama spirit. And no, for sure, she's a shitty person too. But it's
drama spirit.
She has there's more shards of a noble spirit in her. She's selling tummy tea on Instagram. There's something that's human quality cool. there.
Yep.
So sorry, Anne, you're going to the pit. It's now a Sarlacc pit.
Now it's the pit. Okay, David Grisham.
Oh, I mean, Sarah Palin's a lot of fun. I mean, who didn't love her reality show?
Oh yeah,
fair
that
enough.
was
we might need to dig into that for the archives.
Just for that, she gets to go on to the re-education.
Right, so it's a very strong momentum here.
Yeah, as a North Dakota and Alaska is our neighbor, and I think I'm going to go with Palin basically out of class solidarity.
I think in a weird way, Ann Coulter is she's the closest. I did a show. I did Race Wars a couple of months ago, and it's like this comedy show. It's Sherrod Small. It's pretty good, and she goes on that show. So conceivably, I could run in, any of us could run into Ann Coulter, and there would, and superficially you would think oh well, that makes her more relatable because she's just also in essentially the same business, and you could kind of kibitz with her, but that actually makes her more disgusting because you're whereas Sarah, I think you're right. I think Sarah Palin is probably her cravenness is both more organic and naked in a way, and she's also just a real her type of upwardly mobile stupidity versus I grew up in Connecticut and had everything handed to me, and I just want to write books that sow racial division and torture poor people is pretty. I mean, Sarah Palin's gonna have to go through on that one, I guess. All right, so now we've got only 2 rounds left. Yeah, I can't even remember all these, but we have no. All right, we'll pick a few. Okay, we've got Steve Bannon versus Tommy Lauren. We have Paul Joseph Watson versus Steve Crowder.
Should we each individually get one of these?
Yeah, we can each do this. Exactly. We have all right, so let's start with it was Tommy Lauren versus Steve Bannon and Felix Biederman. This is tough, so I'm going to give it to you.
Oftentimes the father of the Facebook drama woman is a father like Steve Bannon, someone who misquotes Sun Tzu, someone who is drunk all the time, someone who looks like shit. And, he's, in an ideal world.
Dude, can we just hear this? It's like Sun Tzu said, make sure the sun of the east tilts on the enemy's eye. And that's the fucking point.
It's like he said in the Arts of War. You can't overturn an ox cart when you are the ox, and that's the problem that Donald Trump is running into with the Mueller probe. And in an ideal world, you save both of them because there's something beautiful in both of their spirits. But who has more time left? Steve Bannon may be one of those drunk guys that lives another 50 years. I don't know. But it's just the odds aren't looking good. And we're going to get more utility out of Tommy Lauren. I'm sorry, Steve.
All right, Steve, you got to go. Okay, Paul Joseph Watson versus Steve Crowder. And I feel like this is a Matleck matchup.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So 2 similar sort of guys. I think I trust Paul Joseph Watson's talent a bit more. But
yeah.
Crowder's more, I think, persistent, and he's a bit hardworking.
Because he has 0 talent.
Yeah, exactly. And to continue producing content when Fox News is never going to call seems like a bit of that says a bit about his spirit. So I'm going to move Crowder forward. I think Paul Joseph Watson had a good run for such a low-seeded person, so we'll let him bow out now.
Wow. Okay, wait. And now I think, am I wrong here? But we feel like we have 3 people for me because there's Candace Owens, Alex Jones, and Sarah Palin are all still in the running. So I'm going to just...
And Ruben.
Oh, no, Ruben lost. Oh, no, and Drudge. Drudge is still around.
Wait, you have Drudge versus Candace Owens.
I have Drudge. You're right. I have Drudge versus Candace Owens. Candace Owens. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's terribly hard. Okay, and then Palin versus Jones. I'm just going to say Jones. I don't know. Can we all get a cosign on that or no?
That's tough for me, but I guess I'm going to have to say Jones. I mean, I would. Sarah's going to be in the Norway style prison.
Yeah, I don't have any problem.
Sure.
I think she can even get snowplow privileges sometimes.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so now we're really heading into it. Now we have Tommy Lauren versus Steven Crowder and Alex Jones versus Candace Owens. We're in the semifinals. Ooh. All right, this is really interesting. Let's do what is it? Tommy Lauren versus Crowder. And I feel like I'll defer to you, Felix Biederman.
There is just, you know, again, we all respect like Crowder's extreme, how much he tries, right?
He tries very hard. I mean, much harder than a Tony.
Every time he puts on drag costume, it's like a guy getting ready for Sunday football game.
I don't know if that's try. I think that might be the least try part.
Yeah.
Of Crowder. That might be the most. We could help him in an enlightened society. Like, come on, Steve, it's okay.
But Tommy Lahren does not try that hard. But then on the other hand, it's like the videos they do are like kind of. You could argue about whose are like crueler or worse. I may give like Crowder a little bit of the edge there. And Crowder just doesn't fit any of the positive archetypes I have in my perfect society. He's not a Fortnite clickbait YouTuber. He's not a Facebook drama person. He's not a quick scoper.
Right.
He's not any of the type of people I value in my society.
I really like the way you distinguish there between value and respect.
Yeah,
I appreciate
I have a
that.
lot of respect for Steven just grinding as much as he can out of a very small orange. And that's his career. But I just, you know, we live with finite resources. Tommy Lahren she's going to produce something more than what you can. I'm sorry.
I have to say, I am shocked by this competition. I thought Steve Bannon would go much further. I have to say that if I was the commissar in charge of Tommy Lauren's fate, she would have been clipped off much. Excuse me. She would have been put in the gulag or in a Norwegian prison much, much earlier. Candace Owens and Alex Jones. I'm sorry once again. I mean, I guess I have personal bias here. Alex Jones. I don't know. I mean, does anybody object to that?
Here's my only objection. I think
Yes.
Candace Owens one day could have like the powerful content spirit that Alex Jones has because of this video I saw her post once that
Where
was
she
like
said, nobody cares what you think. Nobody cares.
it was-
Celebrities.
it was this non-produced video she did where she's like at Thanksgiving and she's like, I'm at Thanksgiving triggering liberals. And it just her having this weird ass fucking argument with, I don't even know if it's her
It's
family.
like harassing some random
Yeah.
family that are trying to enjoy time over the holidays.
And she's making this like her like boyfriend or her friend, I don't know, is just like making these really weird points about police that aren't even like normal Blue Lives Matter. They're just like really weird, and she's making like a smug face in the camera, like, check him out, he's destroying them. And it's like it's not as exciting as Jones, but she's very young.
She is
and it's
very
like
young. She's got a lot of future.
You have the impulse at that young age to make such a disconcerting video. Maybe you two one day can be as good as Alex Jones, and it's like she's the younger person.
Alex Jones was always that cool.
That's
you
a
can
good
go
point.
into the
That's a good
archives.
point.
He didn't grow into anything. He
But
was always fucking great.
I think
Yeah.
I remember like in the mid 2000s. You guys ever hear about brain typing? It's like a pseudoscience where it's like people
I know
have
all
different
about brain
types of
typing.
brains.
Yeah.
I do think Candace and Alex have a similar sort of spark.
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely,
they're
dude.
on the same continuum. I
But
mean, look, if you guys want to go to the mat for Candace Owens, fine. I'm going to always vote Alex Jones advances.
I'm taking Alex because I want Alex versus Tommy in the final.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I mean, Alex Jones. See, unlike you guys, I've grown up on Alex Jones. I used to watch late night Austin public access TV.
Fucking
and I
A.
learned all about the globalists. I learned about the lizards. And I was very freaked out for a little while.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have to support my boy Alex all the way.
All right, guys, the final round here. I think that this has been a very revealing and very tough tournament. Callers, we'll get to you in a moment. Alex Jones versus Tommy Lauren. I'll go around the horn. I think it's sort of pretty obvious where I'm going to come down on this, but I am open to being persuaded, and I'm really curious about what everybody thinks.
I'm going to put an early vote in for Tommy just for the Dakota Pride.
Wow.
I understand.
Say, baby, put down that pipe.
Matt, I held off of giving you that drop for a very long time, but I think if the fact in the final that you're still standing for Tommy Lauren does start to get disturbing, I just want to make clear I would date Candace Owens over Tommy Lauren in a heartbeat. I know that is very much on brand for me, but it's true. It's not even a question of who I would pick from a dating, if not a gulag versus re-education perspective.
So this isn't going to.
I would love to date Candace Owens and have her make fun of me for being like, ooh, you care about civil rights, white boy. That would be a lot of fun. David Grisham.
So this isn't going to be surprising, but let me make my argument real quick.
Yes.
Imagine that we actually do win control of the state, and we are in the position where we're able to send people to the gulag.
This is a real conversation taking place. This is actually prototype. We're prototyping the future right now.
It's been such a weird ride.
Right.
And Alex Jones, for me, has been such an integral part of it, right? That I need Alex Jones on the other side just to remind me of where we've come
of how
from,
what's
what's happened
overcome.
and what's changed, and just like to see that smiling, powerful face, arguing for the Marxist revolution, for me will just be like the greatest joy every morning.
That smiling, powerful face. Felix Biederman.
That moved me a lot. Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, it's like the only thing that can put you like above the nobility of a Facebook peasant is making great content. Who makes the best content in this entire bracket? It's Alex Jones. It's fucking easy. Tomi Lahren, she's going to a new type of prison we've invented.
Okay.
Where it is sort of like a Potemkin, North Dakota town that you live in with like other people, and
Matt, does this make you feel more comfortable?
They all hate the shit out of each other. They all ash like weird cigarette brands that no one buys but them, like cigarettes like Durrells and Basics. They ash them into Diet Mountain Dew 1 liters. They're the only people that buy 1 liters. Everyone either just gets cans or 2 liters.
Yeah, no one else needs them.
Yeah,
we've advanced as a society.
And this is not so much a punishment as it is like we want to preserve the Dakotan, the Great Lakes and Great Plains way of life and study them. But Alex Jones, just his stupendous content ability, just puts him over the top.
Guys, I just think there's no doubt about it. I think that we could use Alex's talent in the revolution, and he goes for re-education. I just saw him going the distance from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Is this Khmer Rouge? No, thank you. We got some Khmer Rouge music to close the segment.
This is a Pierre Bourne beat.
You're calling from a 708 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from? I apologize. I will get to all callers, but we have to be super tight.
Hello, Michael. This is Dragon Slayer 19. How are you all guys tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I will try and keep it tight. So one of the things I think is important for all of us, like on the left, is to try and like get out there, meet with each other, learn with each other, and kind of like in that spirit, I kind of want to promote this event for the Socialism Conference 2018 that's happening in Chicago, early July. Yeah. I know that like Jacobin is promoting it and a bunch of other things, and so like maybe you can get with Bashkar to help promote like these type of events. I'm hoping to see some TMBS 13 out there, some Cuff Nation and Antifada soldiers. And maybe like next year you can a panel event with Felix. After like say they do the What Do Socialists Say About White Privilege, maybe you can do one on the dirtbag left and brocialists. How can core brand proposition bring about space gay communism?
I dig it. This is a great idea. Mm-hmm. And yes, I am actually talking with Bashkar and I are talking about a bunch of stuff like that, including where live shows are in the works. Thanks for the call, brother. Appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry. If I missed anything, just call back next week. I'm sorry, because we are running later than usual. You're calling from a 760 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Michael. It's Kentucky Fried Comrade, a.k.a. Kenny.
How you doing?
I talked a little bit. I'm doing good. Yourself, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. This has been a very, very fun show. I was a little burned out today.
Yeah, no, it's running. It's running long. It's great. I wanted to say really quick, especially since Felix is here, the right wing is super angry online. They're super angry that Ireland reformed the Eighth Amendment, and it's maybe the biggest transfer of human rights that we've seen this year, and it's really kind of amazing that it just happened and no one's really talking about it.
It was the shout out today.
Happened. What's that?
It was the shout out today.
Oh yeah? I missed it.
Oh,
Sorry,
you
buddy.
son of a bitch.
We did on our show before the vote
I-
tell people to vote, and I don't want to single-handedly take credit for yes winning, but it's kind of impossible to imagine that it would have without us.
I think between Conor McGregor's arrest and Chapo's strong support and the energy that I put behind it, it was pretty much in the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're welcome, everybody.
Yeah. You're welcome,
Yeah, thank
woman
you,
of Ireland.
Thank you. Thank you, all you men. I'm super appreciative of it. But at the end of the day, it's really amazing if you can take a chance to do it. Poke a right winger because they're really fucking mad about it online. So just take a chance to poke someone who otherwise is really mad online. Love you, buddy. I love you, Felix.
Thank you.
Love all you guys.
Thanks, man.
Left is best.
Love you back. Appreciate it. Thanks, brother. You're calling from a 518 area code. You know that, like, well, this is like borderline, whatever. Fuck it. It's inappropriate. But I remember, like, you know, like that age, like in high school, college, when like the like moral abstraction of abortion gave way to like, oh, if she accidentally gets pregnant. like this isn't a fucking like there's a lot moral versus like, are you fucking kidding me? This is my life.
I've literally never ejaculated during sex, so I've never had this problem. I've only supported abortion out of my beliefs. So
yes, again,
you know, leave me out of this hypothetical.
You maintain your male essence. Yeah. You're calling from a 518 area code. You see, that's really good.
That's why I'm so powerful.
We should do it. The other project we should work on is like male sexual training for like preserving your essence.
There is
That's
a thing
I
called.
can't believe there's not a market.
The
for
French
that right
are
now.
into this thing called retrograde ejaculation, where you just bust it back into your own colon.
That is so fucking awesome.
That's
like
so French.
Macron's doing that with like his,
if anyone,
with his like high school teachers.
Yeah.
That I will divorce now.
If anyone would do it, it's Macron.
Oh, totally.
Macron can't figure out how to do it the right way again.
Yeah, it's just like, I keep missing. I'm sorry. He was so cute. He was 17 and he was trying to redirect the semen to his colon. And he was just so persistent. And I fell in love with him. You're calling from a 518 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from? 518. Are you there? You there, 518? Next week. You're calling from a 716 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm Pinata in the Discord. I'm calling from New Hampshire.
Will you say your name again?
John from New Hampshire, but I'm Pinata in the Discord.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Not bad. I was talking to you about basically you were railing on Amazon and Walmart before, but there's a lot of other pretty shitty companies that are. Well, that was a couple weeks ago.
Well, there
are
all
a lot of other shitty companies that do even worse.
Yes.
The company I just recently was able to leave is a grocery wholesale company that is basically a monopoly for New England, the entire East Coast, parts of Texas, and a lot of the South.
Okay.
Where they actively will turn down contracts in order to prevent technically becoming a monopoly. They're significantly anti-union. Basically, I could go much longer.
Do you want to share the name of this company?
Yeah, name them.
Yeah, what's the name?
Not yet.
Okay,
I'll
fair
call
enough.
back, but I'm still technically working for them, so I will.
Oh,
I put my
yeah.
2 weeks
Well,
in,
be careful,
but
please. Okay.
it's actually a month and a half, but because I can't quit immediately because there's a lot of other projects I have to hand off, but it's not very hard to find out who they are if you just look into A&P and how they had to
Did you have a
Chapter
kind of
11
bigger point you kind of wanted to make with that? I mean, we use examples I think actually Amazon in some ways really is a unique threat. I really do. But there's another thing that misconduct of certain companies should be like a doorway to understanding the structural problems, not demonizing specific companies. I totally agree with you.
I mean, I'd agree, but we deliver Amazon. Amazon's groceries come from the warehouses we run. So Amazon may be a threat, but they still can't. They haven't been able to break into the market the company I work for has, and Amazon has to use basically, if you buy anything from Amazon for food-wise, in at least New England, New York, and Pennsylvania, it's coming from our warehouse. So it's Amazon.
I'll look into it.
I'll
look into it more. I'll look into it more. But I mean,
I can message
there's
you
a
in
lot
the
more
Discord or,
conversations
like,
to have about
personal
Amazon.
message, but
No, I appreciate it. All right, man. Thank you for the
But
call.
yeah, like,
Talk
just
to you
one
soon.
last thing is we actively, like, there's just, I'll call in again, but like,
Yeah.
there's active union busting, because the best way to become larger is just by buying other companies
And then
that
destroying
are going
their
under,
unions.
because you force them under, and then you bust the union.
Right.
Because you kind of, the whole way they have it working is that each employee kind of has to work against each other to try and get money, because everything is, like, every single thing is measured, just like Amazon.
Hit me on a side on the Discord, and we'll definitely talk about this more. I want to like actually do segments on this for real. So please hit me.
Yeah, I can name them later, but
No,
yeah,
just
it's pretty
even
horrifying.
regardless of that, like insights about this sector of the industry and how it works is stuff we can get guests on and build segments around. Thanks, man. You're calling from a 773 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
This be Uchiwali.
Uchiwali. And I believe you are calling from Chicago, Uchiwali.
Yes, although it's not my birthplace. Quick thing before we start. One night, I will tell you a quick story. I was playing World of Warcraft, and I grouped up with this orc hunter, and his character name was Joe Button.
That's awesome.
No, I'm being 100% serious.
I love
so
it.
I said, "Why do you call yourself Joe Button?" He says, "I am Joe Button." I said, "Oh, really?" So I didn't know anything about Joe Button at the time, so I looked at his Wikipedia page, and I said, "Well, if you really are Joe Button, I haven't heard any of your music." And he said, "Yeah, I really am Joe Button, and you should check it out." So I did. That was how I was introduced to Joe Button. I kind of think it was him, but I don't know for sure if it was.
Should tell him to do my show.
I haven't seen him since. This was way back in Wrath of the Lich King, so this was like 6 years ago, maybe. I don't know when that expansion came out. Does it make me tragically uncool to admit I played World of Warcraft with Joe Button one night?
No, that makes you very cool.
One of
that
my-
actually that
Oh.
makes me feel like I should play video games.
One of my most cherished online friends and part of my Fortnite team, the linchpin of my Fortnite team, was a WoW player.
Was it who?
Okay.
WoW
Well-
player.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck am I doing? I should stop like doing
So
yoga
if you ever
and being
find out
outside,
that-
clearly.
If you ever find out that Joe Button plays an orc hunter, then that's a true story.
I wouldn't
Anyway,
be surprised.
I was calling about. I disagree with you with your opinions yet again.
Of course.
Is that all I do? Do I do that too much?
Yeah, basically. But it's fine. Go. I usually like your counter takes.
No,
Besides the
I-
Nas
I'll
bullshit,
give you a
which you're
compliment
still
is,
on. You literally still call yourself Uchiwali.
That is true. I've been thinking about dumping the name and getting. But everybody knows me by Uchiwali.
I used
now,
to even
so it's sort of
harmonize
like a
it with
prison
you
of
when you
my
called. Do
creation.
you remember that? There was a period where I would give you an Uchi bang. Okay, what do you disagree with me about? And or Felix?
Skepticism. I was a active, like, big skeptic society guy. I actually just sort of lost interest and stopped following it so much. Just before we found out what kind of shitbag Michael Shermer is, and also lost a lot of respect for James Randi too because of all the stuff that went down. But
Okay.
I was a big reader of their magazine and stuff, and they really actually sort of enlightened me to one thing. I was sort of BS woo I had fallen into and didn't even realize it. But I heard your criticism of them. I think you got the idea of the movement down wrong.
I'm sorry, could you
Michael
tell me
Shermer,
when? Was it earlier today or when is it another time?
like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, you were talking about astrology and meditation and acupuncture and all that. On this show, the TMBS show? No,
Okay.
don't remember?
I mean,
Okay.
I vaguely, but anyways, I mean, give it to me.
Okay. Yeah, keep this call moving. Okay.
No, I
well,
appreciate
first of all,
it. It's just we're running late. Yeah.
Michael
Yeah.
Michael himself is in favor of meditation and meditate. So there's like skepticism is not a knee-jerk movement where you just say, hey, everything you believe is bullshit, don't believe anything type thing. As a matter of fact, the motto or of the Skeptic Society is Baruch Spinoza, where he said, I have made a ceaseless effort not to ridicule, not to bewail, not to scorn human actions, but to understand them. And
I
so,
actually really like that quote. I like Spinoza. I read Spinoza in college.
Exactly.
Spinoza's legit.
The whole reason I got into the skeptics movement is because they did a thing on people who deny the Holocaust and how they were full of shit. And I wasn't even aware that kind of, the David Irvings and all those people were out there.
Alex,
and then
Felix,
I read
you can explain your
they
position
did
on
on
this next time. Just please, we're running late. Don't get upset.
Okay. I read the issue they did on HIV, and I had read that Rolling Stone article, 25 years ago about how HIV wasn't the cause of AIDS. And I sort of fell into it because I thought they had a point, but then I read the skeptics issue and they sort of disabused me of that. And I just think it's important that the whole point of it isn't just to say bah humbug every time somebody says they saw a UFO or read their astrology. Even though I do think astrology is bad for people, that there's a reason for that movement, and despite the crappiness of their leaders, I think they're on to something.
Well, you know what? I'll hopefully, call it again. I would like to talk about it with you because I think I do have a critique of it, but it doesn't negate, what you're saying. But I want to get into it more deeply some other time. But as far as the HIV stuff goes, Tabo and Becky's right about everything. No, I'm just kidding.
What did you say?
You cannot. AIDS is a syndrome. It cannot be spread. Okay. All right, man. I appreciate the call. Talk to you soon.
Oh, one last thing.
Yeah.
One last thing. I might be in New York like in the next month. Should I drop by the studio?
Definitely. Absolutely.
Oh,
Come.
my God.
Please do. Yeah, for real.
Okay,
Let us
I'll
know.
let you know.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye. Okay, guys. Real quick. You're calling from an 847 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Illinois suburbs.
South Jones here.
Oh.
Thanks for saving me. No, it's Josh from Chicago.
Josh from Chicago, from the Illinois
Mike
suburbs.
Jones was
How
really
are
rusty.
you?
847 is
It was
Evanston,
really rusty.
Wilmette, Wilnetka's area code.
Wait, what?
847 is typically you're from Evanston, Wilmette, Winnetka, if you got that area code. It may have changed in the time since I moved, but
Yeah. Wait, are you from the suburbs?
No. Kind of.
Okay.
Hyde Park is like a suburb within the city, but I just know my suburbs well.
Yeah. No, yeah, it is. Opposite direction. Anyways, calling about the rumor that Sean King posted that some of these top NFL players are planning on boycotting the NFL as well in solidarity with Cap and Eric Reed, who's one of the best safeties in football at the moment. But anyways, I don't know if you've heard this or not.
Well, I heard. I think I saw Sean King say it. I mean, obviously, I know some people who are a little bit more clued into that world, into like sports journalism, and I haven't heard it from them. I mean, if they did it, we would have their backs, but I have no fucking idea.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah. I mean, do you think this would like work? Like, do you think that would actually persuade the owners to?
If literally if a
Strike?
critical mass of NFL players, yes, yes. If those games stop playing to the point where like some fucking guy like, I don't care, fine. You don't want to kill the fucking black guys, just play the game. Yes, I think that would have an effect. Yes, I do. I basically think like the amazing thing, the one thing that actually it's so hard, but what makes me so optimistic is I actually like mass labor action works. There's not a single area you could tell me about where you said, hey, if a critical enough amount of those workers just stepped out, would have to have an effect on things. Yes. Across the board. From fucking football players to janitors. Period. Thanks for the call, brother. All right, 2 more calls. You're calling from a 330 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hi, am I in the air?
Yes, sir.
Fuck.
That's a classic C-SPAN prank. Did you ever see that?
Oh yeah.
That's like there's this if you go on YouTube, there's this like montage of C-SPAN prank calls, and the best one ever is the guy's like, "You're calling from Minnesota or whatever." The guy goes, "Am I on?" Fuck. The C-SPAN guy just looks so pissed. All right. That was a great call. That was a strong contender for one of the greatest calls in the first 6 months of the show. You're calling from an 845 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Mike from Rhinebeck.
Hey, Mike, what's going on?
Not much. I'll keep it quick. I was just wondering if you guys had heard that Zack Snyder, the director of 300 and Batman v Superman,
yes,
apparently his next project is an adaptation of The Fountainhead, which I found amazing.
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I saw a Chapo film session in the making right there.
Oh yeah,
But
no,
anyway, I
we're
just wanted
seeing
to-
that piece of shit. I actually fucking miss Zack Snyder after seeing Wonder Woman, which was just utterly repellent, boring movie. Zack Snyder is at least an auteur, like at least Batman versus Superman, like he was going for something. Just everything else, like all the other superhero movies are fucking soulless. But after witnessing like Joss Whedon create a dialogue, I would prefer to see Zack Snyder. I want to see Zack Snyder's fucking idiotic slow motion libertarian movie now.
It'll be great because, I mean, he won't even have to really write a script because all of his dialogue is basically Ayn Rand style, right?
Yeah,
Anyway,
exactly.
So,
Well, it's men talking about like metaphorically or violent, like in combat, but not sexually penetrating each other. And also like a very strong, like great man, quasi Nietzschean thing. So it's gonna work for him. I would rather see that than any like Marvel film that Joss Whedon had anything to do with it. I would literally watch anything but that.
All right. Well, it's in the docket. All right, brother. Thank you. You're the last call tonight. Guys, please forgive me. I'll get to you in the beginning next week with the Discord questions. We just went super late. So you got way more content, or not way more, but more content than usual. I'll get to all of the Discord questions out of the gate next week. I promise. Thank you, Felix Biederman.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Matt Luck. Thank you, David Grisham. Thank you, David Slavic. Thank you, all of you. And thanks for the bunch of new people that joined. I just saw. I appreciate it. We're moving. See you on Sunday with Illicit History of Marxist Terminology with Douglas Lane. Next Tuesday, Mark Blythe, and a whole bunch more.